Hi there, I'm back here and gonna be continuing work on the multiplayer module of Empire Survivors. I wonder why I have these user choices. Right here, what's this? I didn't see this the last time. It's probably a multiplayer thing. Just gonna go back to Unity. There we go. Let me just check my GitHub and ensure that the project it's in its latest version. And I forgot where I left off. It's 2 weeks ago that I was doing the stream. But I think I was testing some stuff and quite a few things were working fine. And I was trying to synchronize the weapons. Not wrong. So let's just play the scene and we'll see how this plays out. I wish I could show 2 screens, but stream only has 1 screen. So what I've got here is I have a couple of players, and I'm gonna create a session and have, of course, the other guy join the session here. So first, the sprites for the characters don't seem to be synchronized. And second, I seem to have an error with both sides. So let's address both of these issues. So first is the error with the projectile script. So the line I'm interested in is line 27. Object not set to an instance of. Says that over here there is something at a weapon. Weapon is not set. But how can the projectile be spawned without having a I'm trying to think through how, because my weapon effect doesn't have a weapon, which doesn't make sense. So the weapon itself may not be spawned, right? All this stuff is confusing. It's confusing me, man. Let me see what I've done to the weapon script. So we've made entity stats here in network behavior. What else? I can just collate everything in one, right? After stuff. So item becomes network behavior as well. Let me check whether the weapons are replicated properly. Test. So the weapons seem to be replicating, or so it seems. So player 2 is right here. Gotta name the players accordingly. There is cross controller with a projectile weapon on the other player as well. Let me check whether player 2 has data of my weapon. Does not. So that has to be replicated then. But the weapon itself, right? Probably. So it seems like the weapons themselves not replicated. The controller is right here. I've got to replicate the weapons. Which means I've got to go to play inventory and make sure that play inventory is replicated. That's it. Replicated now. It's replicated. Give me a moment here. I'm trying to charge my phone. What's going on with so what is going on with display inventory? Where are the changes that I've made to it? So it's just changing that to network behavior, and then doing the on network spawn thing. You don't own this object, destroy it. So what I'm trying to do here is if we're not the owner of the object, then we don't have the play inventory. Why is it still adding me weapons when the play inventory is already destroyed? That's the question. 6 FLWL. So I have the player has a play inventory here. And the other player does not. The play inventory, which is great as well. So the other player doesn't need the weapon as well. Which means doesn't need the weapon. The weapon can remove itself, huh? Before it does that, so why is this thing still spawning a weapon for me first? Something is still calling add, and it's the add function. Unsurprisingly. I'm thinking when I'm finally done with this, documentation is going to be hell. This part. It's part and parcel, I guess. Oh. Under player stats. Is player stat a network or it's an entity stat subject? So that's network behavior. I guess I can move this to public override void. So a lot of the stuff that I used to put on start, I've got to put on network spawn instead. Like the starting weapon being added. It's gotta go here. The global buff, we'll see about that. So the projectiles somewhat working, somewhat synchronizing. So my player has the play inventory, but the other player doesn't have it, I think. Oh, it still has it. I mean, it still has the cross controller, which I don't think it should have, because, well, you know, it's supposed. The inventory is supposed to be removed after all. Ah, now I've got it working. So the weapons don't spawn on the other character now. But the game shouldn't hang for the other player as well. It is currently hanging. I would love to see how multiplayer works. Like, does it pause the entire game for all the players? Why is the level up screen not working for the other player? I mean, it doesn't make sense that the level up screen doesn't work for the second player. Does it always work like that? So I get a now reference on the projectile, which I'm not getting here. Maybe the projectile is what is causing the issue. Maybe this just has got to be changed. Solve the issue. And I can just say if it's owner, you're not the owner, maybe just don't have to do anything. Again, if you're not the owner, just do a return. It's kind of boring, man. Getting all this up. Just running through the code and testing and testing and testing again. It's a little boring. And the leveling up seems to be applying to both characters. So now I don't get any more of the projectile issues, but the projectile is just not working. Character. Maybe it's time to check the experience bar. See who's tracking. Because when the first player levels up, there is no reason for the second player to do so as well. Hi, Yent. Is that how I say your name? Thank you for dropping in, and I'm glad you enjoy our content. Hope you've learned something as well. That's very important. What series are you following? Is it the farming RPG one, or is it the Hollow Knight one? I'm the lobby. So now my breaking. Session exception, lobby one. That's what I'm getting on the other player. Not able to connect the other player. There we go. Now I can connect. Right. Object reference not set to an instance. So now my projectile is gone. What line is this? Line 98. Hi Darren, nice to hear from you. Thank you for dropping in. I'm glad you've learned stuff from us. That's the mission. At least when creating these tutorials. My weapons are not spawning. A little bit of trouble here. Weapon isn't spawning. Wonder why. So none of my weapons is spawning. You are the biggest fan of us. Thank you very much. So you retracted a message. Does that mean that you're not a big fan now? Big virtual board start. I've got to figure out of a way to organize the code here, because I don't think I can just make all of these on the network function. So what shall I do? I can perhaps change this back to start. But also, if it's not owner, then it shouldn't be. So I think another problem as well might be that the objects are just not spawned on the network. So my projectile weapon, right now there are no errors here. I mean there's errors on the other player. There's no errors in the main player. Line 24. Weapon effect. So my object spawns and it's getting destroyed instantly. See that? It spawns and then it goes away. See that? Wonder what's going on. Why does it spawn and go away? Let's look at the cooldown. My weapon. So it spawns right here for 1 frame. It spawns 2 frames, 3, and disappears. So what is destroying it? I mean, it spawns, doesn't move, then it destroys itself. Well, the projectile, why it's not working? Oh, the wave is fine. Destroy network objects on. Wave was the only thing that's working, it seems. The clock lancer doesn't work as well. And there might be a multitude of reasons as to what the hell, man. What did I do? If I'm going on single player, does it work? Maybe I can test it on single player first, and then we can go on networking afterwards to examine all of this stuff. If I'm on single player, I think no problem too. Okay. Oh, still. So then it's what could be the issue? It's line 30. Spawn the network. And there's now reference in the weapon. Why would there be a null reference in the weapon? Oh, cause right here. We've gotta set the owner of the projectile first before I spawn it on the network. Maybe that's why. Spawn the pick and network. There we go, now it works again. It's always flying down. From here. So now this works, but it doesn't configure properly. I think because the rigid body is enabled towardly. It's a dynamic object, right? It's falling downwards. It's falling downwards because the rigid body says that it is a dynamic object, which is why it's falling downwards. Hey, actually, I can just call start again. And just move all of this to start, just like before. And then I can call it again. So I can effectively call it twice.
Whether you're relaxing at home or out and about, make your music move with you. With Premium, you can download your music at higher quality, listen to songs ad-free, and play them in any order. Tap the banner to learn more.
Fine. I'm gonna go and take a walk for a while and think through this. No brain day right now. Be right back. I get stuck with cold, I will just get myself a cup of tea. Caffeine always jolts me up, and hopefully that means that I find a solution to all of the stuff that I've been struggling with for the past hour. So the issue is with the projectiles themselves. And let's just test it out again and see. Because on single player, the projectiles don't have any problems. Surprisingly enough. Or maybe not. It's only when we go on multiplayer that problems come up. I just stained my pants with tea. It's terrible. Oh. I'll be right back. I'll be right back, dude. So there doesn't seem to be any problem when I'm playing in single player. Everything is fine. I just have no way of dealing damage. Because the clock lancer doesn't do any damage. Besides that, everything is fine on the multiplayer version. It's just a single player version that needs. I mean, the single player version is fine, multiplayer version has some problems. So that's what I'm aiming to find out. Over the course of today, we have like 2 more hours. Sort out these issues. So in multiplayer, the fire one is just going whack, man. Look at that. Does that mean that the start function isn't firing in multiplayer? So now we know that when multiple players are involved, then the physics doesn't work quite about right. Question is why. Now testing multiplayer is such a pain. Rejoin game every single time. 9GQQ. Big. Knife doesn't fire properly. I mean, on single player, the knife works fine, right? I mean, it's moving straight. There isn't any big problem with the knife. But in multiplayer, it just seems to completely break. Doesn't make sense. So if I play by myself, the projectiles are fine. There isn't any big issue with the projectile in single player. I'll just get the knife and I'll show you what I mean. No knife. So everything works perfectly fine on single player still. I think a shuriken code has I mean, it's not best. Where's my knife? What the hell is going on now, man? Why? What the heck? So now everything is broken. I mean, the knife was working fine just now and it's breaking now. It's incredibly frustrating. No idea what's going on here. And I can't even get a knife. I can't even get a player to show the knife. Everything is flying downwards now. It's not the most fun. What? Does it fix everything if I just remove the stupid on network spawn? Goodness. What the hell is going on? Projectile is kinematic, right?
Click or tap the banner to listen to the chill hits. Brought to you by McDonald's crispy mac and cheesy wrap. It's hearty, it slaps, it's back for a limited time.
So it's a kinematic, but then it's being changed over into a dynamic rigid body. Isn't it supposed to spawn as a kinematic? I mean, that's the whole point of me setting the prefab, right? I mean, why does it turn into a dynamic rigid body the moment that network objects added onto it? Some ridiculous crap, man. So this is fine, the shuriken is fine. There is no issue with the shuriken doing anything wrong. Just an issue with my fireball and my knife, which are supposed to be kinematic, and then when they spawn, they become dynamic. Oh, look at the X, and the X should work fine. It's just not moving. What the heck, man? Auto update kinematic state, what's this? Am I supposed to use a network rigid body 2D? There was something that I've yet to figure out for my network rigid bodies. Gotta figure it out. Why? Being overridden. That is that. It's on. Disable physics syncing on the network component. So explain the three checkboxes. Use rigid body when auto update kinematic state. Auto set kinematic on the spawn. I think I shouldn't update this. Should I use the rigid body for motion? should be moved manually, so I shouldn't use the rigid body. Oh no, this is fine. Use rigid body. I've got to fix this weapon by weapon. The cross is fine. Defile wand doesn't have to have either of these. So there's this. It's fine. The borer. So the center water is kinematic, right? So it shouldn't be using these two. And so is the borer. It should be kinematic as well. So the only thing I've got to fix really is the X then. How about the clock lancet? Clock lancet is a kinematic, so it should be not using the rigid body motion. Dynamic. X is dynamic as well, but I mean it's flying all over the place, man. It's not doing the physics properly. So it's dynamic. I mean, its direction is set, right? But it's just moving the wrong place. It's ridiculous. So it appears that once I set the kinematic thing, the knife is working fine. The X though, I think the X is probably the only one that's having problems still. So once it's fixed in single player, then I can just move on to fixing the issue in multiplayer. So the issue appears to be with the network rigid body 2D. My center water, I hope it's working properly. There we go. I'm feeling better now that the whole thing is working. I do want to test the X because the X is the only thing that's still malfunctioning. Garlic should be fine. Garlic doesn't do anything special. X goes straight up. And it really shouldn't be going straight up. It should be, I mean, it should be organic, right? Let's see what happens if I do not auto update kinematic state. See if this still works the same. And really shouldn't be working this way. Where's my X? It's not appearing. The X isn't appearing. The mobs are not functioning properly. This is by far gonna be the most frustrating. Add a network rigid body to improve rigid body 2D synchronization. So the mob doesn't have a rigid body, but the rest of it does. Now, where is the mob? Do the rest of the guys have they don't have a rigid body as well?
enough of your song of the moment? Download and indulge in the tracks you love over and over again with Spotify Premium. Tune in to discover an ad-free music listening experience where you can play your favorites in any order. Tap the banner to learn more.
Why the mobs not moving? I mean, don't the mobs have a don't the mobs have a collider? The mobs have a collider, right? Why is the guy not moving? I mean, the rest of the beds are moving. The rest of the beds have no issue with any of this stuff. And it's incredibly frustrating when this stuff just starts breaking. So incredibly frustrating. It's like what's going on with the mobs, man? It's something to do with the game manager. It's not even responding to getting hit. It's ridiculous. Ah, my X is working now. As long as I don't lock the face direction, everything seems to be fine. Let's fix the mobs now. X is working. It's great. It's really great. At least something is going right. So there's a bunch of errors, means the mob here. Player transform. Player isn't defined. Player isn't defined. All players. And grab random player on the screen instead of always picking first player. Find objects by type for all the player movement. I mean, there is a player, right? And why is this giving me issues then? The smooth function is not firing. Change charge direction. So what's the issue? The issue is that I mean like the player is not found. Find objects by type. I mean, this gives me all the players, right? So what's going on here is that no player movement is found. I mean, like, it's in the game, right? Why is this a problem? sometimes like whatever is happening just makes no sense. Clients don't have to manage more. That's why. It's because of this line. Picks a random player on the screen. Player. I think this is still fine. But probably we'll want to this. There we go. I think that's the right move here. I'm glad we're at least getting somewhere now. All thanks to the tea I drank. So the mobs should be working fine. These guys are not synchronizing still. The freaking mobs not synchronizing. And I don't understand why they're not. I mean, they cannot even detect collisions. What the hell is that? How does that work? Can't detect collisions. Can't even shoot them. What is this? I mean, are they like networked? They're not networked. Is it because they're spawned by something else? Actually, that's probably the case, right? Mob manager. Mob manager. Where is the mob manager? Event manager. That's probably the guy to look at. So I have the spawn manager, spawn everything just fine. Right here. So now I have to just client side. It's not the server. So the spawn manager is works very well to initialize and spawn our network objects, but the event manager hasn't been trained to do that yet. So I have to update my code accordingly. So wherever wherever the event happens and something is spawned, I have to make sure that spawn also triggers the networking. Instantiate. But it doesn't instantiate anything. Check if will happen. Add new event. The event itself is supposed to run something. Do I see the bug on line 1? No, I don't see the bug on line 1. But if you see anything, I'll appreciate it if you point it out. For me, for my sanity. So I have the spawn manager here. The event manager is supposed to spawn something. Trying to figure out where the spawning happens. Event time means I have a piece of code that spawns the enemies, and I think it's in here. No. Line, I see. And I thought the dash was a typo, but appears it's not. I probably will feel better once the error is solved. But thanks for the joke. Talking does help to make the experience less intense, because I'm a really impatient guy. Like really impatient. So I've instantiated the object and I have to spawn it as well, right? So let me just go to the game manager, I mean the spawn manager. So one thing I can do is to extend the event manager, right? So that it's able to spawn stuff for me onto the map. Or I can just do it straight inside the event data. So that's something I've got to think about. So the spawn manager does the spawning itself, and I'll just do the spawning inside the mob event data for now. If there is a need, I will move it somewhere else. Just do it here right now. Okay, I can't do it here because it needs to be inside the event manager, because I gotta check whether I'm on the server. So then that means I can create a static function called spawn. Public static game object spawn. Your largest project is are you a web developer? I mean, I haven't done anything web related before. Like I know what TCP is, I know what UDP is. I've played around with web. I mean, I'm a web developer as well, but I haven't done any networking applications. All I know is I know how to create HTTPS certs for my websites, for my clients, and I'll sell them HTTPS certs or like servers and stuff. But I don't do networking code. I mean, if you know how to do a TCP stack, you're probably very experienced with web dev, right? With networking development, right? I'm thinking of right now this spawn function, where I should put it. It's I spend a lot of time thinking about small things when it comes to designing my programs. The TCP and the UDP, I mean, the TCP has a lot of handshakes. I've done it as a student before. It can be pretty frustrating. I mean, even I find even REST queries are frustrating sometimes, because you get certain things wrong, right? I mean, like, programmers have this problem where they don't document their their protocols very well. Like, I was doing a Coinbase trading bot a couple of months ago, and Coinbase's documentation is just ass, gotta tell you. like you can send in a trade, like to buy, say, X number of certain crypto coins, and then they will just say, oh, there's an error, and then they wouldn't tell you what the error is. It's incredibly frustrating. So I guess how your experience with REST is depends on how well documented their API is. So if you're interested in learning how to develop games, right, I think you can follow the Vampire Survivors tutorial. You can see how we bring the project from just like maybe 5 to 10 classes all the way to how many classes do we have right now? At least it's probably like a good like 50 to 60 classes, if I would hazard a guess. I'm just thinking if I should create a parent class for the spawn manager and the event manager, and then they will share a spawn function. Or should I just put the spawn function inside the spawn manager and just have it manage all the spawns? Why does Oh, I have no problem repeating it. I was just saying that REST, like, I'm most familiar with REST queries, and I'm not a fan of doing REST queries. I prefer to have a WordPress plugin do everything for me. For the simple reason that if you write your own REST queries, you often have to read a lot of documentation. Even with AI now, like AI sometimes, many times gives you the wrong code, it just doesn't read properly, right? Especially ChatGPT. I mean, it just gives you very ass answers sometimes. So I mean, if I work with a plugin, then I just have to, I don't have to deal with the rest at all. When I was younger, I used to be excited with the prospect of coding my own, like querying the REST endpoints myself. Then as I grew older, I realized it's just a lot of reading, a lot of pain. My first experience with REST was with PayPal back in 2010, 2011. It was fun for the first time, and it just loses. It just gets very tedious after a while. Horrifying. I think the problem with coding is that it takes up a lot of time, and as you grow older and you get a job and you have like 15 commitments every day, it's difficult to put in the time to like build something yourself. And I just slowly became more willing to piggyback on existing libraries, existing plugins, and just patch whatever needs to be patched. GitHub is a fantastic tool for that because you can just grab libraries from someone else and then you can contribute to those libraries as well. I was just telling my students, I lecture at a couple of places as well. I was just telling my students, sorry I'm rambling, but I'm just telling my students that if you work with libraries, you can contribute to them, and that can be very good portfolio pieces as well. If you have any questions about coding, feel free to ask away. I'll start rambling if you ask the right questions. So REST is I think REST queries are still easier than doing networking layer because you don't have to do the handshakes. Everything is done for you. You just gotta ping the right URL and then the browser does all the handshakes and all whatnot for you. So I have a spawn function right here. I'm just gonna make this object the key and just be generic. I think as a student, you exploring everything yourself, it's not necessarily a bad thing because it helps you understand. Like when I was younger, I was just so curious about everything. I was curious about how, like let's say physics in a game engine, how it works, and I would build my own. and 6 months later, after struggling with the math and the technology, because I mean you can't do some. I mean some of the algorithms are pretty complex, So like I did a lot of reading to understand how game engines like resolve their own physics, for example. Then I realized I was just reinventing the wheel. What's the point of doing your own physics engine if someone else has already done it before and written about it? But the exploration is what gets you to grow. And beyond a certain point of exploration, you will get to a level of confidence where you feel like you can do anything as long as you're given enough time. Then you realize that there isn't enough time for you to do everything yourself. And then that's when you get to do libraries. I built a lot of my own stuff when I was younger as well. Had such a blast doing it, but it didn't make me any money. So maybe it was a waste of time, but it also made me a better programmer. But if your focus is money, then yes, like you want to just leverage on existing libraries. I'm not sure if mine is the most efficient way to go about doing it. Like if I had the opportunity to redo my 20s, I wouldn't have done like all my own like libraries and stuff. I thought it was a waste of time. yeah, I probably would focus. See, the thing with people like us, at least that's what I see in my students as well, right? Is that as programmers, we never think about the business side of things. Like I was just telling a student of mine, he was saying, oh, he's gonna build this game and it's gonna have this unique mechanic and it's going to be a very good game. And I was telling him, sometimes what makes a good game isn't just how unique or how creative it is, but also who's doing marketing. And as coders, we never think about that. We never think about the financial aspect of things and the marketing aspect of things. So if I focus my time more on understanding those aspects, I think I would have. I mean, if you have money, you can do anything, right? I think money is so important in the sense that if you understand how to get people to give you money for whatever you're doing, that can allow you to do so much more, and it can multiply your sphere of influence as well, because money is just the stored time and energy of other people, right? So if you have money, then you're able to do whatever you want to do like much more quickly. The developers of Witcher, for example, right, they were able to spend like 5-6 years doing The Witcher because they had some other income source. I think it was gambling machines or casino machines or something along those lines. Not sure exactly what they did, but they ran an actual business that got them income, and then using that they were able to just pump money into letting developers do their own thing. I mean, I eventually pivoted to using libraries and learning more about the financial and marketing aspect of things. It was a little bit late, but better late than never. And fintech is another big thing as well. If you understand how crypto works, you understand how to say tie crypto into your own whatever website you're doing or whatever service SaaS that you are providing, that'd be very helpful as well. Or just understanding how to trade crypto or to trade metals like gold and silver, like breaking all-time highs every day now, right? I mean, that part of things can be important as well, again, as a way to empower yourself as a developer or as a programmer. Like I've got a lot of friends who, not a lot of friends, but I have some friends who, one of them, he was saying like, oh, like programmers are like the smartest people in the world, but they're also the most broke because they have no idea how the financial world works. And he was saying like, he's this guy from Sweden, and he's saying like these programmers are so brilliant and they're broke because they don't know how to negotiate. And then you have like, he says like, like he's just a regular salesman and he's earning like as much or even more than programmers, which is pretty sad. And it's true because I see this in school as well, like with my students. But for the longest time, I mean, I gotta admit, I found finance to be like incredibly boring. It's the most boring shit, man. But it's so important as well. Thank you so much. I can't see your name here. Let me just pull out the window. Thank you, Clorex, for the $2 donation. Are you someone I know? Because you are using the Sing dollar, so I'm assuming that you perhaps know me in real life. I've seen streamers actually do this thing where like whenever you donate something and then like they do impressions or they have some kind of animation, but mine seems to not be showing up. There is supposed to be some animation when you make a donation. Let me just go and look into them. I'm so sorry that the animation didn't come out for you. Now let me see what's going on here. Super chat. Okay, the animation didn't come out, but let me know what I can do for you. For $2, let me know what I can do for you. Sometimes wonder about job bridging dev teams to SMEs since they seem to be paid just as well, if not better, than dev roles. However, I'm not sure if they require. Having dev experience never hurts you, I think. But having any experience with anything never hurts you. What kind of job are you looking at? Do you have any specific job in mind that you want to aim for after you graduate? How long more till you graduate? And if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? I mean, I've got to say I'm pretty lucky because I have a teaching job. I'm not a developer. I just teach. And so I just go to class every semester, like for about 1.5 months, and I just ramble about code. And I think my job is a lot easier than than the average developer because teaching it pays pretty well where I'm from. So I just go in, talk a bit of just talking crap really, like, you know, I'm not doing anything, and I get paid, and I do this stuff which is making $2 today. And I know I'm supposed to think about. I have ideas of how to make this bigger, but I just haven't gone around to doing it. You know, in between my client projects and teaching, I'm pretty swamped at the moment. And of course, like trading crypto, trading right now it's commodities, right? I bought a bunch of silver. I'm very lucky. But let me know what job you're looking at, and if I can say anything that can help you, or can do anything that will help you, I'll let you know about it. You want to become an anti-DDoS engineer or something related to a network edge. Second year comp science students, I'm a good ways out from my goal, but trying to prepare amply. Which classes do I teach? I teach database management. I teach Java. I taught Python before. I mean, I teach even the languages I don't do, I teach. So like if they need someone to do Python, I'm your guy. If you need someone to teach C#, I'm your guy. But I work mostly with C#, with HTML, JavaScript, PHP, CSS. I mean, these are the codes that I use to, because I teach game dev as well. I teach game dev and I do web dev. But if you need me to teach Java, I can do it as well, you know, because it's just an adjacent to C#. And I've taught Python as well. I mean, when I took up the module, I just gave myself like a 1-day crash course. I've used Python before, but you know, if you don't actually develop with it, then the way that you understand the language is different. Because when you develop with it, you just understand the language at a much deeper level. As for anti-DDoS, right? If you want to be an engineer along those lines, it would be. So I know a bit about cybersecurity because I run my own server and I sell hosting to clients. So I host like probably 2 dozen websites for a bunch of my clients, and so I'm constantly managing like the crawlers. I am. I mean, I'm so I have failed to ban configure on one of my servers, for example, I'm constantly tweaking the codes to ensure to kind of catch the people who like. I mean, you have all kinds of bots out there, and sometimes I don't understand why people want to like deploy bots and just crawl your site or just crash your site. But like every week something is happening on the server, and it's where I learned most of my cyber security. I took cyber security classes in university, but I barely learned anything from there. So if you can start a project, I think that would be great. If let me think. If I mean, I'm thinking that I I could give you a taste, but I'm also thinking about my budget. You know, like how much am I able to pay you if I were to get you to help me with, let's say, server management, just to give you a taste of it, because I think that's where you really learn. Like when you deal with, say, like today at 5 p.m. your site crashes, and then you go into the logs and you read through and you try and find out who was trying to crash your server. I think that's when you really learn, because you can see, like, for example, the server, what is it catching, why is the 403 happening, or why is the 500 happening, and how do you prevent that kind of stuff. So I happen to enjoy doing all of this stuff, so it doesn't feel like work. But at the same time, it'd be nice to have someone help me, because right now I mean, I'm, I'm, I'm having more and more stuff to do, you know. So if you like to get a taste of, feel free. So there on my website there is a contact us page. Perhaps you can send in a so on my site there is contact us page. Perhaps you can send in this sends me an email, so we can talk further there. I mean, I have a couple of things on hand, so I have to think through, like, what are some of the things I can assign you and perhaps give you a taste of. And if you do a good job, you know, we can always talk about payment. I mean, I would love to have you work for me for free. Everyone, I think anyone would love when someone offers to work for free. But at the same time, when I was younger, I worked a lot for free, and I just realized that I got taken advantage of. So I want to try and avoid that. But if I were to pay you, I probably would pay you in crypto. It's much easier for me. I don't want to wire stuff and let the banks. I mean, like, you know, if you wire things like cross borders, the bank usually takes like $20-$30. You know? It just frustrates me a lot. So I'd probably pay you in crypto if any payment arises from that. Yeah, we can talk more over email. In the meantime, let me just continue developing this. And I've got to take this offline and just double check why my alert box isn't working after the stream is done. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I can always assign you work that has a longer run, like a longer runway. So then, work that's less urgent, for example. Like I have a couple of plugins. Do you do like PHP and stuff? Because do you play Pokemon? Because I can give you like work on, say, okay, this is not really cybersecurity, but I have an app that haven't updated for a while. A bunch of apps haven't updated for a while, and you can play around with those as well. Or like with servers, there's also less urgent things that you can take your time, like a couple of months, like do. Any firewalls developed? I don't think so, not at the moment. But one thing I can do is whenever, say, my server gets attacked, and if you're interested, you can check out the logs for me, and you can see um, what you can develop. No worries, man. No worries. I'll have a look at your resume perhaps, and we'll see where we can go from there. And I mean, school should be the main focus, so I totally understand. That's on.
Lean into the sounds you love. Take your playlists anywhere with offline downloads, or play a song of the moment again and again with unlimited repeats. Get all the music without hearing audio ads on Spotify Premium. Tap the banner to learn more.
So what I want to do with this function here is that before once I instantiate the object, I actually do want to have it be initialized as well. So I guess this means my spawn function will have to return a game object. And then once it returns that, if the game is networked, I will initialize that. PCAP, no, my attacks are all logged in Apache. I can show you the graphs I check. So I use DigitalOcean, right? And I just set a couple of alerts on DigitalOcean that tell me when the site is down for whatever reason. I just check in when I have time. I mean, I don't always check in because the server is configured. If it goes down, it restarts itself. And if you attack it for long enough, it just blocks you. So all that's done with fail to ban and with mod security, and there are a couple of custom scripts that I would love to say I've written them, but I just got ChatGPT to write them for me. So what I have here is, so I track the load of the server like this, and then whenever the memory spikes or the CPU spikes, I will get the report. So whenever I get load spikes like this is when attacks happen. I mean, it used to be always high, and then I wrote a couple of scripts to ban most of the attackers, but then there are some that are still slipping through the cracks, which sometimes I don't have the time to figure out who, like, because the logs are pretty how should I put it? The logs are pretty hard to read, and I haven't come up with a system to read the logs, so I just manually go through the logs. But I mean, you can probably do some grep or something to find the attackers, or to write shell script to see what are most persistent, to scan like all the Apache logs, like the error logs, the vhost log, and then the access log, right? To see which are the IPs that are accessing your page. But I haven't really thought about how I can optimize my debugging process. So it's one thing I can use, like if there is a shell script or Python script or something along those lines, then whenever, say, my load spikes, then it can just tell me like, hey, these are the IPs that are blasting you right now, and which subnets they're from, that kind of stuff. Very helpful. So what I mainly done is just to reduce the to my scripts are just there to like block the very basic DDoS attacks. DOS attacks, sorry, not DDoS attacks, DOS attacks. So it's on Apache, and it's just in the graphing for DigitalOcean. It's how I find attacks and how I stop them. So I have my spawn function here. Not sure if I want a generic for this as well. No, I haven't tried a raw socket on the web server to monitor traffic. Because I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not network trained. All the networking stuff I know, I've learned myself. So any security knowledge that I have, it's very basic. It's either from reading the internet, from running the server, because I was setting up the server like 10 years ago. But nowadays I just ChatGPT everything. So I don't have, I use Cloudflare for some of my sites, but most of my sites I just defend myself. I have a project where I use Cloudflare because I just had no time to set up the server. But for the rest of my servers, I'm just defending myself. And the only WAF I use is fail2ban. And mod security, of course, but mod security can be such an ass sometimes. Just just blocks all the wrong things sometimes. But for the most part, it's very good. I'm very happy with mod security. So I need the mob event data to be able to spawn stuff. Using the spawn manager. Like I think the stuff you're talking about is more of the Cloudflare level stuff, right? And Cloudflare has some really good what do you call them? Applications, protocols. They handle the bot detection pretty well. I've been running my one of my sites through Cloudflare, and it's just got 1 GB RAM, and it does caching for you as well, which is really amazing. Cloudflare is just something else, man. Hey, if you have a challenge software that is easy to use, I'll be happy to use it. I don't have any bot challenging software written or running on my server. Like, is there anything on the market right now like that's free? Say like fail2ban bans stuff for you, right? But I don't have anything that challenges bots. I have no idea how to get started on doing that kind of stuff. On the plus side, my weapons are working properly now. So it's been a very interesting day. I started off the day very frustrated, wondering what's wrong with my project, and then I found the issue, and now I'm feeling better, and now I want to ensure that the mobs are working properly. That was what I was trying to fix previously. being visibly frustrated with the mob just completely breaking when I moved over to networking multiplayer mode. And I'm doing this project because my students asked me about Unity multiplayer, which is very new and which I knew nothing about. Let's see the mobs. Let's hope that they are working. So the mobs should start appearing after a minute, I think. So we'll just wait around. Mobs are working. Oh goodness, this is great. Look at this big smile on my face right now. You know, people say that coding is boring, right? But man, it gives you the highest highs and the lowest lows, man. Oh yeah, Cloudflare, and it's free, right? I mean, I'm paying Cloudflare for like a few dollars every month because I put a script on their server. So that's like $8 a month, I think. But it's well worth the cost. Cloudflare, it's amazing, man. I wonder how their financials work. I wonder how they got started, how they can manage to offer so much for free. All the IT stuff, right? I mean, like a lot of the stuff that you find online, the libraries and everything, they're all free. Maybe that's why programmers are all broke. You know, we do real work and we're all broke. And who are the people making money in the world today? I mean, they are the people who make money with money. You know, like with arbitrage and with leverage, like moving money around from one fund to another, ETFs. It's ridiculous that they're the ones making money, right? Don't you think? Like the world is upside down. There was I think it was 5-10 years ago. Like one of my so in Singapore we all have to serve army, and one of my friends said that the Western world today is topsy turvy, and I think it's by design if you ask me. He says it's topsy turvy because people who manipulate money, they are respected in society, and people who produce and make real work are not. And this was not the case in ancient civilizations. And he cited China, and to a large extent India as well. You know, like if you were a merchant, if you make money just by selling stuff or with finance, you are not really that respected in society. You know? Like if you were a producer, if you were a scholar, you were much more respected. And today the society is just the other way around now. But you know, I think inflation is by design. It's 100% by design. I mean, inflation, the rising cost of property, it's all by design, unfortunately. Like inflation is like, for example, in the next 6 months to a year, you're gonna see like another shot of inflation, and it's just because of the enormous debt that the American government has racked up. I mean, due to a lot of the fraud that you see. I mean, you're seeing a lot of fraud now, right, with Doge, and then now with the case in Minnesota, that there's like billions of dollars that are just disappearing. And all of this stuff contributes to inflation because US is the reserve currency of the world. So the web server sends a Java math problem from the client browser extension. Okay, I have no idea how this stuff works. I'm sorry. It's beyond my realm of expertise. Okay, I have about 45 minutes left. I'm gonna try and get this thing working with 2 players. I'm glad the mobs are working, man. Yeah, it's really sad. Like in like, you know, I'm Chinese, right? I don't know if you can tell, but in China, the people who were respected used to be the scholars, and I think politicians as well, but politicians as in like philosophers were politicians in ancient China. Like at various times, we have quite a few philosophers who were very renowned for just being wise people. And in India, it was the same. In India, warriors were actually, because they had a caste system, right? Somewhere, I mean, today the caste system is corrupted, but somewhere in their history, the caste system, it really worked in a sense that it helped you to see like who were the people who were really contributing to society. And we programmers, we'd be considered scholars, and scholars are ranked pretty high in the caste system, if I'm not wrong. We'd be pretty close to the Brahmin. The Brahmins are like the highest caste. And I think we'd be pretty close because we have knowledge, right? But the Brahmins, like the philosophers, they're the ones who are the closest to God, so as to say. But over time, of course, this became corrupted. The Brahmins started to monetize the whole thing, and then you got a situation where, you know, like you had people who were supposedly spiritual and they charged you a lot of money to admit you to heaven and all that stuff. I mean, it was real at one point. It became a scam after that. To be honest with you, I'm just glad I'm not in the US right now, because it's I think it's in quite a bit of a mess. And I don't think, I mean, Singapore is not the best managed, but it's very well managed, you know. And we don't have like protests every few weeks. We're not the center of attention of the world. I mean, the reason why America so much is happening there is just because anything that happens in America eventually gets out of America. So anyone who wants to influence anything in the world, they will start with America first. And then it just bubbles downwards. So what you're saying is that you have a TCP handshake, you have a TLS session. That's the HTTPS stuff, right? This JavaScript challenge thing is really interesting. I think it sounds like what Google Recaptcha does, right? Oh, the incompetence in office thing is 100%. I mean, I don't think the politicians are incompetent. They're just not working for you. If you don't mind me saying it, but it happens in a lot of the places around the world. It's not just restricted to America. But the biggest mistake anyone anywhere can make is thinking that their politicians are. I don't think they're stupid, man. I think They do things that seem silly to us because we assume that they're working for us, but most of them are not. Now I gotta sync the gems. I gotta synchronize the gems. But my player 2 is just lagging really bad. Agreed, it's dishonesty. But you know, I don't think it's bad to know that you're a politician, to see that at least there is some level of incompetency. I mean, because you're still seeing the problem. I mean, whether it's incompetence or dishonesty, as long as you see that there is a problem, and I mean, whenever enough people see a problem, that's when change comes. I mean, we are still the how do I put it? Because the world is democratic today, right? So if enough of us see that, let's say if it's really dishonesty, but we see that we think that it's incompetence, it still makes a change because politicians cannot ignore whatever we want, because if enough of us want something, they have to do something about it. It's just that today I think there is you know, like the old I don't know whether in America you've learned about it, but in Asia we learn about it that in India and China, like they always talk about how the Brits, right, because they colonized like the Southeast Asian area, and they colonized India as well. And one big thing that the Brits always did was they divided the population among themselves, and that made the population not unite against, because the British were basically going to these countries and then just looting the countries of their natural resources using finesse, right? So then how they stopped, I mean, that was how they looted India, and how they stopped how they did it for so long was just they divided the population like with other issues and got them fighting among themselves, and that was how they were able to loot these countries for so long. And I think that today the same playbook is being used, where people are constantly divided over just very small lines, and that's how, you know, you can get all these things happening, this financial fraud and all the politicians doing whatever they want. But again, it happens all over the world, you know, it's not exclusive to America or to whoever else that's problematic. Trying to see whether I'm looking at my other screen to see if the projectiles are synchronizing. Enemies are synchronizing, which is great. At least there's some progress today. Trilateral, I've heard of them. I've heard of the. Should I say this on stream? I mean, I just had 3 viewers, right? I shouldn't get in trouble for saying this, but yeah. I mean, there's the Trilateral Commission. There is the Council on Foreign Affairs as well, right? I think they are doing quite a bit of work. And then we have everything else that's happening in the City of London, whatever they're cooking up there. We have Chatham House. I mean, there are quite a few countries that are privy to what they're up to. Like India is actually pretty, because I listened to like one of the economic ministers talk about this. Like many years, like for many years, they've been aware of this game, and they're playing it pretty well. China is well. I think China is doing well. I'm Chinese, so I'll always side with my guys. I'm pretty proud of China. I know China is communist and stuff, right? But when I go to China, I feel proud of it, like, cause it's very impressive what they've done there. Like the quality of living is great. I mean, you can't talk. If you talk, you disappear. But other than that, if you just want to live a regular life, and you are yellow skin, you shouldn't run into too much trouble. I'm thinking about what else. What's the next problem I should solve? Like, what should I zoom in on next? First, the effects somewhat sync thing. The lightning is in sync though, that's a problem. And I'm gonna look at the error. So the server side doesn't have any errors anymore, but the client side has a couple of errors that I'll see if I'm able to solve before I wrap up for the day. Write permissions for this client instance. It's not allowed. Player health. Any stats on network spawn. Sorry, player stats. Player stats. Yeah, you should check out. You should check out China. I'm thinking about. I haven't been there. I haven't been there a lot. Thinking about what problems you might run into as a foreigner in China. I don't think you run into a lot of problems actually. You will attract a lot of attention for sure, especially if you head to the non-touristy areas, but not in a bad way. You know, it's just everyone there is Chinese, so they look at you a lot if you're white or if you're black. What kind of technical issues are most algorithmically difficult in a project like this? Is it more so just getting... So game development is a different beast. A lot of it hinges on how well you organize your code. And with networking, it's just because when we started doing this project, we didn't think about networking because Unity 6 wasn't out. So I'm reverse engineering is not the right word, but I'm hacking the system that we have to work with networking, and it's a lot easier if you just started with networking in mind, and we didn't start this way. That's where the difficulty is. But if you've planned the project in such a way that you knew you wanted a networking in the future, then I think I would have had a much easier time. Oh yeah, that's true. So I mean I'm not Chinese, and when I went 2 years ago, I had a problem with getting there because they didn't accept credit cards at the time. So I had a Chinese girlfriend, and that was how I was able to get around. But I think now you can use foreign credit cards. the best way to experience China is to first get a Chinese girlfriend. And you can fly there with her, and make your life a lot easier. Oh, Unity does a lot of networking for you, but what I'm doing here is, so for example, right now I'm with networking. You have to think about, say when let's say player one, right, is going around killing enemies, right? Who processes the damage? So like, do you want the server to process the damage and then and then mirror it to the client, or do you want the client to deal the damage and then send the update to the server? You can't have it both ways, because right now I'm getting both screens to sync. So there are certain things that are synchronizing in both players, but there are certain things that are not synchronizing, and that's the difficult part, you see. So what do you synchronize, right? Like, because you don't want to synchronize everything, because that would make the whole application very expensive. The less you have to synchronize, the faster the game will run. Well, I mean, if she has a Chinese passport, I think it'll still make it a lot easier for you to get around China. You're server-side preference type of guy, you only sync client-side. The game is good. There you go. So what I'm trying to do here is, because Vampire Survivors has like weapons for the client and I mean for different players, right? I'm getting the client to handle their own damaging the player and stuff. And weapons as well. So I want the client to sync the weapon behavior over to the server. Because if you send everything to the server, then the server is going to be doing a lot of the processing, which is going to make it harder for it to. It's going to require more performance than the client side, and I want to see if I can distribute it evenly across all the computers. But mainly what I'm trying to do here, I mean, before we even talk about all these higher level conceptual underpinnings, right? I'm just looking at fixing all the error messages that appear as I play the game. So once that's done, then we can look at the architecture and we can measure performance, can start profiling. I haven't done all that stuff yet. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of nuance to the client side and the server side thing. Yes, you're right. Write permission for this client instance is not allowed. So I've got to set the write permission for the hell. Read permission will be everyone. Read network everyone. You mean I cannot make it everyone? Server owner. Yeah, variable, right. The read perm is for everyone and the write perm is that looks better. Only server can spawn network objects. So now I've got an error right here. It's on some other script. So the client is unable to spawn anything. So I've got to open up my projectile open script and make sure that the client, instead of spawning something, it just tells the server to spawn something instead. I have no idea how resource reliant this is, because Unity works at a higher level. So Unity just we don't deal with the performance as much. So Unity provides the functions. Like there's this function that they give you to spawn something on the server side, for example, right? So then you just follow their protocol. And yes, we trust our client updates. In games, it is not as big of an issue. I mean, it depends on how hack resistant you want your game to be. But Vampire Survivors is a cooperative game, so there isn't as big of an issue with hacking as let's say if you were to make competitive game. To be honest with you, like a lot of the questions you're asking, I can't really answer them because it's not what I focus on. I haven't thought that far yet. I'm just thinking about how to get everything to synchronize properly right now. So like for now, that means getting my weapon script to spawn the projectile on the server side. Man, I was hoping that the client could manage the object instead of having the server do it. I mean, if you have experience with coding, any kind of coding at all, I think you would be able to pick it up faster than the average person would. A lot of people who watch my videos, they have like zero experience coding, and they'd be like asking me like, oh, why is this not working? Because they're missing a semicolon, that kind of stuff, you know. So my problem right now is this line, because I can only spawn this at the server side. Which, what am I to do now? Community says on the server. Now it's being extension to the client, so call server RPC when fired. So I've gotta have a standard way to spawn stuff, huh? Server RPC runs only on server. I guess I've gotta move the spawn function over to the game manager then. Goodness. Such a pain. Can I spawn something but let Yes, you can spawn on the server, but still the client control the object afterwards. That's exactly what ownership is for in network netcode for game objects. No. That means it's no need to apologize. It's nice having someone to talk to while I'm coding. Yeah, game dev is like flying a plane, and opening a game engine is like being dropped onto the pilot seat. So right now what I'm doing is this spawn function right here. I'm gonna move it to the game manager, so this provides a way for any client to network spawn something. Game dev is like the hardest way to learn programming, like if you ask me, because it's rocket science, man. It's just rocket science. I don't know how else to say it. But that's where I started, and I think it got me learning a lot of stuff very fast. I mean, when you do hard things, you grow very fast, right? What?
Whether you're relaxing at home or out and about, make your music move with you. With Premium, you can download your music at higher quality, listen to
Generic
songs
overload
free,
preserves the
order them in
input
any order.
types.
Tap the banner to learn more.
No casting required. Spawn is goes to server, instantiate something, and if there is no network object, turns false. So now everything spawns in the server, which is the way it should be. This will say this should be spawn RPC. Let's rename this to spawn. RPC method must return void. It's not the generic as well. So only the server calls spawn can instantiate this on my end. So I've got to break this down into two parts then. And this can remain spawn. And then there is a network spawn function that we create as well. Let key void. Hey, no problem, man. Have a good rest. I saw your message on my phone, and I'll keep in touch with you. Thank you for joining the stream. Have a great night. It's 4 a.m. on your side, right? So you probably should sleep. I'll get this sorted out, and I'll be done for the stream for today. Thereafter. Just gotta get this spawning system to work before I move on. RPC method must not be static. Thank you. So we've got to tell the server to spawn the object, and your server does its work, does the spawning as well. So that means I have to spawn server RPC here. Does that convert actually? Class network. Man, this is taking forever to solve. Qualify with a So I've got an instantiate on the server. The server must instantiate the network object before it can respawn. Clients can request spawns, but cannot create authoritative network objects. You gotta spawn the whole thing in the server, man. Done everything wrong so far, man. Yeah, but I'm gonna go back and rethink on this. We have to do some rewriting here, but besides that, I'm glad on the progress I've made today. It's a little slow, but it's nothing unexpected with network programming. Thanks for joining the stream, and thanks again to Clorex6229 for donating $2 to the stream. I will see you all next week probably.